Darling, darling, you're beautiful. Gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. Sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate.
And how we're going to start tonight is in a reclined position. I think I gave that away already with the props. And we have two choices. So one is if you were able to get that piece of furniture at the bottom of your mat, you could just kind of squinch up your backside close to it and lay your calves over that. And then just lay back. And maybe the blanket is a nice little cushion for your head. If that's not feeling good for you, or you weren't able to do that, or maybe you don't like the legs up the wall or up the chair, you can always come and sit on that blanket, just with your sits bones right at the edge. You bring your feet out wide at the bottom of the mat and slowly recline. And once you're down, just make sure that you're getting that right in the curve of your back, the blanket. At the bottom of the blanket, it's just lifting you up slightly at the hips. And then you're going to bring your knees together. You might want to draw them up a little bit closer, your feet towards your backside, and draw the knees together. So it kind of looks like this. A little tented in action. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to feel the connectivity of your back towards the floor. And when your legs are up, whether they're lifted this way with the bench or legs up the wall, it allows that lower back to really connect with the earth. So I want you to just kind of put maybe your left hand on your lower belly and your right hand up on your heart, on your chest. And slowly just get into a natural breathing pattern, maybe eyes closed. And notice not only do you feel a connection of the lower spine to the floor, to the mat, to the blanket, but you can almost feel a natural curvature of your spine when it hits the back chest area behind the heart. So imagine your arms are just opening up a little bit more. Maybe you draw the elbows out to the sides while pressing the palms onto the body, on the front body. Chin draws down a little bit towards the chest. So it's sort of elongating that cervical spine. And just breathing in. Once again, allowing the lumbar, that lower part of the spine, to really press into the earth on the inhales. And maybe on the exhales, you start to notice that behind the heart, the back body, the thoracic spine is pressing towards the floor. And through these inhales and exhales, you'll notice the cervical spine also has making some contact, either again with the blanket that's under your head if your legs are up the wall, or maybe if the blanket is below your pelvis, you can feel that right beneath you on the mat. And as you start to breathe in, start to deepen in a little bit deeper, a little bit slower, longer inhales, really filling up that lower body. But imagine that you're breathing in and out through the backbone. Starting at the hips, tailbone, lower spine. Feeling the press as you inhale and exhale. Rising up the mid-spine, behind the heart area. Maybe just touching those shoulder blades, back of the collarbone, neck bone, back of the head. And just really breathing in, imagining you can send breath all the way down the back body. And on the exhale, bringing it up and out through the top of the crown of the head, perhaps. Breathing in this way into the back, allowing the back to press. Sort of draws that tailbone down towards the feet. It also allows us to feel maybe a different kind of grounding than we may feel in our day-to-day. When we're usually sitting vertical, putting a lot of pressure on that tailbone, putting a lot of pressure on the backs of the thighs, maybe tightening up some of those muscles in our hamstrings, even our glutes. This just allows us to let gravity kind of do a different kind of work on our bodies. Really neutralizing the spine while still opening up the hips in our breath. Opening up even the front chest. You can kind of feel as your elbows come out to the sides, pressing in with the palms of the hands. You can almost press your chest open a little bit more. Maybe that happens on the exhales. And again, on the inhales, really feeling that nice support straight up the spine, and the muscles surrounding the back spine. Again, maybe the shoulder blades and the hip bones just drawing back, the back of the head. And again, on the exhale, pressing that left hand into the lower belly. Almost imagining you can forcibly open up that front hip area by that slight little press. A couple of more breaths on your own. And just playing with the press of the palms and the press of the tailbone. Press of the lower spine, mid-spine, and your neck. When you're ready, we're going to reach the hands above the head. A nice stretch of the fingers way up to the top of the mat. Maybe opening up the fingers wide, spreading out the palms, really feeling the stretch of skin all the way from the tip of the fingers to the heel of the hand, down the forearm, elbows straight and strong. Without overextending from the shoulder blades, just feel that nice stretch in the upper part of the body now. Maybe the chest joins in on the inhale. And on the exhale, pressing in again, maybe the lower spine pressing towards the mat. Think about pointing your toes if you're able to have your legs lifted, whether they're up the wall or on a piece of furniture. And just really point and maybe flex your feet as you inhale and exhale, reaching. Relaxing. One more. And if your knees are tented and your feet are flat on the floor, you can stay there. And the rest of us are going to join you in that same position. You might want to actually move your blanket off to the side, guys. We're going to bring our feet together now with the knees up. Hands will come down to the sides. We're going to press the palms into the mat on each side of our hips. And on the inhale, we're just going to press into the feet and slowly lift up our hips. Not too hyperextended, allowing that chin to draw down towards the chest on the press. And on the exhale, releasing, allowing the backside to come back down to the mat. A couple of more times, and feel free on the inhale. If you want to get the arms involved, you can lift the arms up And over the top of your head on the inhale as the hips rise, and on the exhale, the hips will lower, so will the hands. And a couple of breaths, just getting some air in there. Coming into our slight little back bends, just starting to open up the hips a little bit more. And as the arms come up overhead, it's opening up the shoulder blades. And just getting some movement in the hip flexors, getting us ready for our first postures, which will be some open hip poses. And then maybe ending the practice tonight with just some chest openers. So we might go for another little back bend or two at the end of the practice. When you're ready, settle in. We're going to draw the knees up towards the chest, and we're going to grab the knees with our hands and just a little rock and roll back and forth, side to side. Not forgetting to breathe. And maybe if you just want to take the knees and circle your legs inside the hip sockets. Maybe you go to the right. Couple of breaths, switch it around to the left. When you're ready, we're going to settle back down. The left foot is going to come to the mat. The right foot is going to come up to the sky, or to the ceiling in this case. And we're going to cross that right leg over the left, almost a figure four we're forming with our legs in a reclined pigeon pose. And if you're so inclined, you can lift that left knee towards the chest. So we're getting a little bit more hip flexion there on the right side. And that might be just enough for you. And maybe you just want to point and flex the feet again, the ankles, rotating the feet. And if you want to go for a little bit deeper stretch, you can take your hands, wrap it around the inside of that right thigh, wrapping it around the back of the left thigh. You can even lift that left foot up to the sky for another little extra challenge or an extra stretch. And I would then encourage you, if you're into that, maybe taking the right and left hand and walking it up the back of the calf. Be very careful not to allow a little bridge to happen at the back of the neck. We want to keep that chin down towards our chest so that we keep that elongation of the cervical spine. Remember that pressing that we did at the beginning. And just breathing through that stretch. Again, if you want to point the toes and flex the feet, really feeling the nice stretch of the skin, circling out the ankles. And then when you're ready, bringing that left leg down, the right foot meets the left. We're going to switch sides. Left leg is going to go up to the sky, pressing in on the right foot towards the mat. We're going to take that left leg, crossing it over the right, pointing and flexing that foot, wanting to go a little bit further in the stretch, lifting that right knee towards the chest, maybe using the left and the right hand to come around the back thigh. Again, a little flexing and pointing of the toes, rolling out the ankles. And then there's the always extra stretch of lifting the right foot up to the sky, taking the hands behind that calf on the right side, drawing the chin down, keeping that cervical spine, the back of the neck, close to the mat. And feel free to point and flex or rotate anything here that needs a little extra attention. And when you're ready, both feet are going to come to the ground. We're going to put our hands out in a T. So that means the arms are spread eagle, or you can do goal posts. So the goal post would just be a 90-degree bend at the elbows. The palms will be facing the ceiling. And sometimes I even like to extend my arms all the way to the top of the mat, but at each corner. So almost on a diagonal. And that feels good for me tonight, so I think I'm going to stay here. Find your place with your arms. Draw the knees to the chest. And we're going to let the legs drop over to the left side of the body, keeping the knees as high and close towards the arms or the armpits as possible, and turning your head to look over the right side of your body. Maybe you're looking across your right. armpit. Maybe you're looking towards your right fingers, right elbow, and just feeling that nice twist. If you want, you can take your left hand and place it on the top of your right outer knee. And again, that's just going to give you a little bit more leverage, a little bit deeper twist. And I always like to imagine whether I'm in a lying twist or a seated twist or a standing twist or even a balance challenge twist that we are going to do a little bit later. I always on the inhale try to imagine that I'm elongating that back spine. So I'm elongating the spine. The crown is drawing towards the top of the mat in this case. Even if it's just in my imagination, just the idea, just the thought and the inhale, suddenly I feel I'm just a little bit longer in my back body. And then on the exhale, I try to just turn a little bit more. In this case, my head will come a little bit more to the right. Maybe I'll press with the left hand, my right knee a little bit more towards the left. And on that exhale, I can suddenly feel, hey, I'm just twisting a little bit deeper. And again, you can continue to play with that inhale of drawing up the head and making the spine long. And on the exhale, just twisting a little bit deeper. Really feeling the right side body opening up, wringing out any toxins we may have accumulated over the day. And when you're ready, the knees are going to come up to center, and we're going to switch sides. So the right side is where the knees are going. The gaze now will be towards your left. And again, now you might want to take the right hand, bringing it over towards the outer left knee. And imagining that inhale of the spine lengthening and the exhale of the twist. This time wringing out all the toxins on the left side of the body. Opening up the left side of the body, but still feeling that right engagement. A couple of breaths here in the twist. When you're ready, knees are going to come up to the sky, coming into center, placing the feet back down on the mat. Just coming for one last stretch, pointing the toes straight to the bottom of the mat, the hands on the inhale, reach up, nice long body, and see if you can almost imagine your palms are where they were in the beginning. So the press of the belly, the press of the chest into the mat. And see if you can play and just get your spine a little bit closer, a little bit pressed in on the inhales and exhales, like we did at the beginning. When you're ready, release. We're going to take a little cross-legged, so we're almost sitting in a cross-legged position on our back. So the knees are going to come up towards the chest. We're crossing the right ankle over the left. And we're going to reach around the outside of our legs. See if you can make some contact with your fingertips around the outer edge of the left foot and the right foot on each side. And maybe just kind of get some rocking motion going. Get the head involved. Really feel that whole spine now that we were working on pressing, rolling, rolling, rolling. And when you're ready, come to a seated position. And then we're going to roll over into our tabletop. And we're going to do some cat-cows. So I want to kind of make the cat-cows very free-flowing tonight. We've been together quite a few times, so everyone has their little movements and motions. I always like to curl my toes under, and I make sure that I'm checking my hip alignment so that my knees are right below my hips, my elbows are right above my wrists, and my shoulders are right above my elbows. Tonight, I don't know, I've been having some little tightness in my forearms, so I'm going to actually switch my palms. I'm going to have the fingertips facing towards my knees, it's going to limit my cat-cow. So I'm only going to be able to inhale, dropping the belly, raising the chin, drawing back the shoulders. I'm going to be only be able to go so far before it starts to tweak my forearms. It's actually feeling really good for me. And then on the exhale, pressing with the tops of my feet, I'm going to be lifting my tailbone, dropping my head. And that's kind of an awkward position for my hands in this way, but I don't know, for tonight, I just kind of like it. Maybe you guys want to go a little bit faster in your cat-cows. Just don't miss the stretch. Don't go for the vigor and then you miss the stretch. Make sure that at least once or twice you're just really slow and engaging, drawing the shoulders back, letting the belly drop, allowing the tailbone to come up to the sky, maybe curling those toes, feeling the presence of your foot. Feel the distance between the chin and the chest as you reach up. And then on the exhale, really arching, pressing into the floor with your hands, the tops of your feet, as if you have a string at the backbone and it's lifting you up high, pressing into the hands, allowing the head to drop, chin draws towards the chest. And then just go at your own pace. But just remember to always feel the stretch. There's a reason why we do these cat-cows at the beginning. It's a great way to get the breath in. It's also a great way to lubricate the joints. And of course, just getting those first stretches of muscle, getting the bones to articulate the movement. And then I always like to do some side-to-side cat-cows as well. So just swiveling the hips maybe. You might want to do some circular motions. If you're going to do circles, just always make sure you're getting the other side. Not forgetting to breathe. When you're ready, we're going to meet back in tabletop. We're going to curl the toes under. We're going to head up for our first down dog. Let's try a bent knee down dog right now. So we're going to curl the toes. We're going to press into the hands, keeping the knees bent. We're going to lift the hips up first. Once the hips are up, we can draw the heels back down towards the bottom of the mat and allow the head to drop. Making sure that we're outwardly rotating our elbow creases. So remember, it's like having two jars on each hand, and you're opening a jar with one hand and you're tightening with the other. I believe it's lefty, loosey, tighty, righty. So the left hand is going to be turning the elbow towards the left, and the right hand will be turning the elbow towards the right. So that's the inner elbow crease we're talking about. When we do that, that allows us to take the pressure off of our shoulders and really get a nice height in the hips. And it's okay, like I said, to keep those knees bent. We really just want to press those hips. See if we can start to straighten the knees a little bit more. Couple breaths. Nice short bent knee down dog. Really enjoy it tonight, especially. Feels good to just let the backbone hang out. Again, opposite direction of what we've been doing all day long. Sitting on our tailbones, compressing our spine, our neck folding forward, our shoulders hunching over. This really allows your body to just kind of do the opposite in every way. Opening up the shoulder blades, drawing the hips up to the sky, allowing the tailbone to draw back, and allowing the neck to just hang. Let gravity do its job. When you're ready, we're going to look between the hands, and we're going to slowly tippy-toe walk our feet to our hands. When you're ready, see if you can just take a nice forward fold. Again, feel free to bend your knees. Allow the head to drop. Maybe the arms are just dangling at the sides. Again, I just kind of feel like I want to reach my palms. They're going to come up to the sky. The tops of my hands are going to press into the mat. And I'm just going to let my forward fold keep me here for a moment. Still in inversion. Full breaths. Drawing the tailbone up to the sky. When you're ready, you're going to take those palms, press them into the shins for a halfway lift. The legs will straighten as we rise. It's a little semi back bend here. If you want to look up a little bit, that's fine. Just not too much. We worked so hard on neutralizing the back of the neck. We don't want to overdo it in the press for the halfway lift. Exhale one more time. Slightly bend the knees for your forward fold. And when you are ready, stand up to a standing position however you like to get there. Maybe it's pressing into the legs, raising the arms up towards the ceiling for Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Maybe you like to do a slow rise inch by inch with your tailbone, curling up, head coming up last. You might want to also put your hands on your hips and just hinge from your hips straight up. When you're ready, coming into Tadasana pose, and just a reminder with Tadasana, you can either keep your feet together as one big foot pad, imagining that you have four corners of a box, the top of the corners of the box being the outer edges of the top of the feet, and the bottom edges of the feet or the back of the heels being the bottom of the box. So really pressing into those four corners almost allows the center, the arches of the feet to come up, kind of like a pyramid. I really like that sensation, and it really gives me a nice center body line that I can draw in my mind, almost like a tube or a straw where I can suck the energy right through the arches of my feet, drawing up my knees, engaging the thighs, engaging the front and back thighs, the glutes slightly as the belly draws in and back towards the backbone. Chest rises, shoulders open. Hands come down at your sides, palms facing the thighs. Chin draws back a little like we did on the mat, neutralizing the back of our neck. And imagining that string or that straw, drawing the crown right up through the ceiling, just sucking the energy from the earth right up through the top of the head, really feeling that nice, almost a kundalini energy coming into the body. As we inhale through the nose, maybe exhale through the mouth. Feel free to sigh. Feel free to do a little sing-song. Feel free to just flutter the lips on the exhale. Maybe the eyes are closed so that you can really center in. Finding that nice, strong mountain pose, that Tadasana pose. Shoulders drawing back. And again, if that is not comfortable for you, keeping your feet together, you can always start to spread them apart. I wouldn't go any more than hip distance apart. I like to even keep it a little closer. Sometimes just taking our two fists together, placing them between the arches of the feet. That's always a nice way to measure your body and your distance in your Tadasana or your standing poses. When you're ready, we're going to start our sun salutation. So that's going to be an inhale where the arms rise up to the sky. Exhale, we're going to swan dive down to a forward fold. Inhale, we're going to press and halfway lift. Exhale, the hands are going to plant onto the mat, and you can step back with the right foot, then the left foot into a high plank. We're going to let the knees hit the ground, slowly lowering the chest as the elbows come tight to the rib cage, scooping the neck up and the chin up for a low cobra. Exhaling, curling the toes, and coming right from that table into our down dog. And you'll notice that your dog is a little bit longer now. That's good. You want to pedal out the feet a little bit because you are in a longer, more traditional down dog right now. Just don't lose shape in the belly. Remember, it's like a little parachute floating up towards the sky, allowing the hips to draw also towards the ceiling. When you're ready, you're going to look to between our hands again, and once again, either tiptoe the feet or hop between your hands. We're going to halfway lift on the inhale, exhale, forward fold. On the inhale, rising all the way up, upward salute, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms come down, swan diving down to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, planting the hands. Maybe this time we're going to step back with our left foot and make the right foot come after that into a high plank for the inhale. Exhale, choose knees, chest, chin. Or maybe you want to do a Chaturanga Dandasana, which is sort of a reverse push-up. Coming into table, finally pressing into down dog. We're going to do one more of these. So look to the front of the mat. Again, get to the front however you want. I'm just going to step up there tonight. Halfway lift, pressing the palms, nice little low arch in the back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, pressing up through the feet, rising up, Urdhva Hastasana. Maybe taking a little back bend here. I like to sometimes draw my thumbs together like a little bird with my hands and lifting up through the spine, drawing the tailbone down and coming up and over. Always drawing the tailbone down, always drawing the belly towards the back, lifting the chest without overextending the armpits. We don't want to clog anything up. We want to open it up. Again, breathing like a straw from the feet all the way up the body, center, through the neck, top of the head. And let's just release our hands to our sides. And I just kind of feel like doing a balancing pose right now, right away, before we start anything else. I didn't want to forget. So I haven't done dancer pose in a while. So I was thinking, let's just do that right away. So for dancer pose, you can let your feet come hip width apart. Get a nice stability there. You can do that at the front of your mat. I'm just turning so you can see me. And when you're ready, kind of get that sensation that you could lift your left leg and really be fully supported by your right. We're going to take the hand on the right to the right hip, and we're going to take the hand on the left out as if we have a platter or a serving dish. We're going to get into that right foot, and we're going to kick that left foot behind us. So we're kicking it behind us. We're going to reach back and try to grab the top of your foot from the inside arch. If you can do that, start to press that left foot into that left hand. If you splay your toes almost like a peacock, it's easier to hold the balance. Really finding a gaze perhaps about 6 or 7 feet in front of you. Maybe that will help you find your stability. You're feeling a little confident, taking the arm up and reaching over and getting a nice little back bend. Maybe the gaze starts to go up to the corner, the front corner of the room. And if you're finding that that's a little too challenging, you can also just point your toe behind you. Do the same thing, raising the right hand. Maybe taking the left hand, reaching to the back thigh, and just getting your back bend that way. And finding your balance on that one foot with the kickstand in the back. Also lovely, gives nice elongation and really helps you open up that back stretch. All right, everyone come down from dancer, and we'll go on to the other side. Pressing into the left foot this time, making your decision what you're gonna do with the right foot, whether you're gonna kickstand it behind you or you're gonna try and lift it up. Take the platter with the right hand, reaching it back for the inner arch, pressing through, opening up the toes, reaching with the left arm. Beautiful. Nice little back bend. Really pressing in, feeling that press in the left foot, super helpful. Allowing that right hand to work for you. As you press into the top of the foot, The foot presses into the hand, and that arm comes up. Beautiful, dancers. Exhale, come down and release. Shake it out a little bit. And now to really change things up, because I don't want to miss this either, we're going to do a nice malasana pose. So we're going to open up the feet, and again, you can be at the tops of your mat. And it's actually really helpful if you can get your toes off of your mat and your heel onto each side of your mat. Where your toes are pointing out, you can start to lower and bend your knees, allowing the tailbone to draw down. Seeing if you can keep your heels to the ground, maybe putting your hands into prayer with the elbows on the insides of the knees pressing. I'm going to show you from the front. Squatting down, keeping the heels if you can, pressing in on the elbows to the inner knees. That kind of gives you some leverage. You actually can really stay in here. Another great trick is sometimes I put a blanket behind my heels, so it's almost like I'm on a little high heel. Another great idea is to take your block and to just stick it right there underneath you. So you're sort of sitting on the block, but you're still getting this beautiful stretch in the groin area, opening up the hip flexors, really getting a nice stretch in the ankles. Pressing out is strengthening your arms. And I want you to just breathe in and see how your tailbone feels in this squatting position. Tonight is all about breathing in through the back body, feeling the curves of the spine, feeling the curves in the natural positions like we started when we laid down, where the lower back curves in. And then as you get to the mid-back, it starts to curve the other way like an S. And then when you get to the neck bone, it curves back in again. So in this particular position, you're actually drawing your tailbone down, so you're really coming the opposite way. But because of that back bend, your thoracic spine is still drawing the normal way, and hopefully your neck bone is as well. I like to draw my chin in on this pose, giving nice support. When you're ready, if you're comfortable with raising your hands up, inhale. Exhale, cast your hands in front. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale. Cast your hands in front. This would be a great time to go into crow. I'm going to give a little demo on crow for everybody. And again, the idea would be that maybe you're not on your block. I'm going to do it off the block. But inhaling and casting the hands forward, we can draw them back. So we're really making sure that we're getting our elbows to make contact with our shins. We press our hands into the floor and we just start to tilt. And that means you're raising your heels now, you're going up on your tippy toes, and you're just starting to tilt. And maybe you say, I feel like I got a balance coming, getting on the tippy toes, maybe raising them one at a time. And you can also find a spot about 6 inches in front of you. And that kind of helps, I find, with the crow, to always look ahead and not down. So you're really looking out. Again, the hands are going to plant in front. You're going to engage your elbows with your inner knees or maybe your shins, coming up on the toes, and seeing if you can just balance. Bringing up the toes, pointing them together, coming into your crow. You can always use the block too. All right. Try that a couple of times. Again, we're going to reach up, inhale. Exhale, cast the hands forward. And this time we're going to lift our backside up. So we're in a forward fold, but we're a little bit further ahead. I just want you to feel the sensation. You let your hands flatten. Let your head drop. So it's almost a wide leg forward fold, but not really. Just kind of reset here. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to walk the hands a little bit back towards the feet. Hands come to the hips. Slight bend in the knee. We're going to slowly roll up into our standing position. We're going to stand at the front of our mat. The arms are going to rise up for an inhale. We're going to bring the palms together, coming into Anjali Mudra, to be reminded of why you came to the practice tonight, why you're here on your mat. Show a little gratitude right in the middle of your practice for how wonderful you're doing and how the dedication to the practice has shown up for you tonight. You might want to just close your eyes for a moment. Think about that thought. And when you do, make sure you take that deep breath into the back body and out through the back body in tribute of this beautiful alignment that you have. Sometimes it curves in, sometimes it curves out, but it's always holding you stable. Inhale, arms are going to rise up. We're going to exhale, forward, planting the hands, and we're going to step the left foot back. So we're coming into a high lunge. So we want that heel to be right above the balls of the toes, lifting that kneecap up. On the left leg, you're almost turning in and lifting the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. See if you can plant that right knee into the right armpit. So your arms are coming out. You can open them up a little bit further than the outer edges of your mat and really enjoy that nice deep lunge, bending into the right knee. We're going to allow the tailbone and the belly to work for us as we press into that right leg, slowly rising, coming forward, and then back for our back bend. So we're going to be in our high lunge, Anjaneyasana. Again, the reach is from the mid-spine. We're not putting any pressure. We're going to draw that tailbone towards the ground. As we press into that left leg, it's really giving us energy and height. And if you look at me, I'm super exaggerating. But that's how I want you to feel. I want you to feel like you could launch right into the ceiling. When you're ready, we're going to twist that left foot down. So we're going to come and set up for warrior two. So the left heel is now going to come in contact with the mat. We're going to just let it kick back, letting the left toes draw to the left top corner of the mat. We're going to test our stance. So I sort of can see myself in my screen, and I can see I'm really not at a perfect 90-degree angle on my front knee, so I'm going to come back a little. Now I really feel a nice bend and a nice stretch. My toe is facing forward on the right side, and on the left side, it's coming up to the left corner of the mat. I'm going to turn my body towards the side, towards the left side of the mat, opening up the arms for warrior two. Again, if you have a camera in front of you, it's great to go to the side. You can really see if you're in all 90-degree angles. So hands are parallel to the floor. Right thigh is parallel to the floor. Right knee is at a 90-degree angle. Under the armpits, you got 90-degree angles happening with the side body and the arms. Looking good. Look over the right. Middle finger. Warrior two. Inhale, we're going to take the left hand behind the back of the left thigh, coming up with the right hand over the head for peaceful warrior. And I want you to straighten that right leg. As you straighten, we're going to reach forward. Good time to grab that block. Placing it, I like to place it on the tall side in front of my foot. So that once again, I'm getting a nice 90-degree angle with my armpit and my side body. Pressing in, maybe taking that left hand, we've done this before where we wrap it around our right rib cage, drawing it up towards the sky. Hand comes up, short triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Couple of breaths here. And again, I want you to notice your back body and what's happening there. It doesn't mean we ignore all the other things. If you have a little tension in your knee, give it a micro bend. If you feel your stance is too short or too little, correct. But once you're there and you're settled in your pose and you're breathing, allow that left hip to draw forward, your tailbone to draw down, and really feel that long action in your spine out through the top crown of your head. And just think about breathing into that back body. What does that feel like to be able to breathe into the hips in this position? What does it feel like to breathe through the back rib cage, opening up the shoulder blades? And maybe even just not looking up at the hand, but looking straight in front so that you're keeping a neutral spine all the way up through the back of your head. And you might notice that that's like a really good place for your head to be. Sometimes when we twist, we're so busy looking at that direction that we don't realize we're really closing off our necks. And there's nowhere for the air to go in the breath. So when you're focusing on breathing through the back body and breathing through that back neck bone, you suddenly say, hey, this feels much better for me to just put my head in a neutral spot. All right, when you're ready, I'm going to exhale. The left hand is going to come to the ground. Place your block back in front of you on the mat. Coming back into that high lunge again. We're going to take one more scoop up for our Anjaneyasana. So we're going to come up, reaching up for that high lunge. Getting some nice buoyancy. You can almost feel the bounce. Go for it. One last back bend here before we exhale. Planting the hands in front of us on the mat. We're going to walk our hands to the long side of the mat for a nice wide-legged forward fold. Allow the head to drop down, neutralizing the spine. Letting the gravity take hold. Feel free to always lean on a blanket. You can double wrap your blanket, put it under your head if you can get down that low. You can always bend your knees, drawing your hips up to the sky to get down that low. Sometimes I cross my arms and lay my head in there. Sometimes I go for a tall block and just hang out. It's everything. It's awesome. You really need to have these inversions. You know, I recommend an inversion a day. I don't know if that keeps the doctor away, but it definitely keeps lower back pain away from me. When you're ready, if you only have one block, take that block with you, bring it over to the bottom of your mat, because we're going to walk our hands in that direction. We're going to come up on the back toenail, which is your right ball of your foot, coming into that high lunge, making sure that that left knee is right into that left armpit. Maybe your hands are at 10 and 2 o'clock. Really feel that stability. And when you're ready, pressing into the feet, using your back, using your belly. I'm really going slow here so you can feel that rise, that stretch of the crown up to the head. Hands come up to the sky. And now you got your buoyancy. Now you could just take off like a rocket ship. Nice energy in that back leg. And when you're ready, we're going to kick that heel back, coming right into our warrior two. I don't need to give you much cues. You guys know what you need to do. You feel it in your body. Get your angles set. Get your stability going. Don't forget to always draw that front knee towards the side it's on. So the left knee would go to the left. It's not really going to the left, but if you imagine drawing it to the left, suddenly the whole alignment of the hip changes. Opening up the arms for your warrior two, a couple of breaths here. When you're ready, taking that left hand, sliding it down, right hand, sliding it down the right thigh. Left hand is going to come up and over, palm facing the ground for your warrior two. And we're going to straighten that leg. Left leg straightens as we slowly hinge forward. Reach, 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 reach for that block. You can also just use the ground. And you can also use the top of your shin. I was doing that for a really long time, and I noticed I was starting to lock out my knee. But when my teacher said, well, you got your block, just use it. I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. And now I'm just kind of like into the block. Triangle poses now. And it feels really good and really stable. I'm really allowed to get that reach and to enjoy the right hip coming forward. It's an open hip pose, but we don't have to be all spread out. When that hip comes forward, it actually allows the torso to twist a little bit more. And if you were to able to see me, I don't want to throw you off because I know you're doing your poses, but if you were to really be able to see me, my hand is not straight up. Because I bring that right hip down and forward towards the ground, I'm actually allowed to open up a little bit more. And my arm is actually not straight up. It's definitely in straight line with my left arm, but it's sort of reaching back. I'm really allowed to open up the chest. Enjoy that back breath, body, for 2 more breaths. Make sure you're neutralizing your neck. No looking up at the hands. It's too much for tonight. It's too much. When you're ready, we're going to windmill down. The right hand is going to come down. You can move the block off to the side. Coming back into that lunge, we're going to walk our hands over for another forward fold. Anybody want to take a handstand? Go for it. I have another trick up my sleeve. They sell these online. This is the bench I used. And it's really a great way to learn how to do some headstands and handstands. And it's a wonderful method for inversion. I don't know, I think maybe this cost $100. It's pretty stable. And it's awesome because you just kind of put your head in there. You let the shoulders rest on the cushion. You just kick your legs up and you can hold yourself, drawing the belly in, and really getting those toes to point up towards the sky. So you're working, but you're just not working as hard on the balance. There's no pressure on your head. It's drawing your it's drawing your shoulders down, which is amazing. It's like getting a massage. And you're still able to enjoy that inversion, and you're able to enjoy engaging your glutes or your belly. You can do bicycles with your legs. And I really love this thing. So I'm not making any money off of it, but I highly recommend everyone have it so that everyone can do an inversion a day. If you're not able to do beautiful headstands, take some more water, guys. And when you're ready, come out of your forward fold. Hinging at the hips, slowly rising, vertebrae by vertebrae. However you want to get up. And again, I'm just going to recommend a nice full body stretch. Inhaling, 5-pointed star. Really getting those hands up. Open up the palms, open up the fingers. Nice energy shooting from each of your 5 fingers. That's 10 laser beams heading up towards the universe. Nice inhale. Exhale. And when you're ready, hop the feet together. You should have plenty of energy to do that. Awesome. And if not, you can just step your feet together. That works well. All right, we're going to go for our standing twist. So in order to do that, I thought it would be fun to try and do a balance and a twist at the same time. So we're going to come up on, let's start with that right foot again. So we're going to come up with the left foot, and the right foot is your balance. You're standing on your right foot. Knee is lifted up. Try to get that knee as high as you can. Find a spot on the floor if you need to find your balance. So it's going to be 6 to 8 feet or 6 to 7 feet in front of you, a little dot. Hopefully it's nothing moving. Hands on the hips always helps for. All right, this is where the twist comes in. We're going to raise the hands up in the air, see if you can get that nice balance going. We're going to start to slowly turn the head towards the left. The right hand is going to come to the left knee, and the left arm is going to come behind you. And you're going to use that leverage to press into the knee with the hand And slowly see if you can get your gaze to turn more towards the left. That is a nice standing twist. And if you flex the foot on the left side, it makes it a lot easier to hold your pose. If you find a gaze over your left shoulder or point to look at, it makes it a lot easier to hold your pose. And then you can release. Certainly feel free to find a piece of furniture. If you did have that bench that you were using before, you can try it on the other side. I think I'm going to do that. Leaning into the left leg now, lifting up the right knee, flex toe. I'm just going to slightly put my toe on this little bench here. Got the hands on the hips. I'm going to inhale, reaching up. Remember, we always lengthen the spine before we twist. And then exhale, we're going to look to the right, maybe opening up our arms, maybe taking that left hand, pressing it into the outer left knee, outer right knee. And then looking over the right arm, getting the twist and the balance. Really feeling the elongation on the inhale of the spine, on the exhale, maybe just getting a little bit further in the twist. And when you're ready, come down, shake it out. And you guys know I love a good long Shavasana, and I don't want to cheat you out of that. All right, so we did our sun salves, we did our open hips, we did some balancing poses, we did some forward folds, we did some inversions, we did some twists. So I think we know what's next. We're going to open up our heart, and I recommend we get down on the floor where we started. Get down there however you choose. And my recommend is, if you started the practice with maybe your feet up, maybe we finish the practice with your knees tented together and your feet on the floor, just to get a different feeling. And then if you started that way, maybe try to get your legs up on something. And if that's not available to you, do whatever feels good. We're going to inhale, we're going to open up our arms to a T. And we're just going to take some breaths here, and we're going to breathe into that front chest area, opening up. Another great way to do this, guys, if it's comfortable, is sometimes you can actually take your blanket and put it right underneath your back shoulder, your blades, allowing your arms to drape open. That can open up the chest. Sometimes people put a block there. You can try that too. I think I'm going to go with the blanket and really enjoy my reclined pose with my knees up. It's called active rest. And I really enjoy just opening up the chest now. Opening up the arms, breathing into that space. It's sort of like a little back bend too, but you're really back bending from the upper spine. Forcing that bend, forcing the opening to happen in the chest. A couple more breaths here. As long as the knees are up or the feet are up, you're technically doing a forward fold as well. So this kind of takes care of both of those at the same time. And if you want to stay in this position to begin your Shavasana, I would welcome, or should say invite you to close your eyes and really settle in. If you want to remove the cushion or the block from your back, if you have it there, feel free to do so. If it feels good to keep your knees up and your feet apart, you're welcome to do so. If you want to go in your traditional Shavasana and take your blanket and lay it on top of you, close your eyes, shut your lights, turn off the Zoom call, and just enjoy your Shavasana. I probably will not end tonight. I like to sort of these days let you kind of enjoy your Shavasana however you get to it, however you stay in it, and come out of it whenever you like. But I do have an offering to take that left hand to the lower belly and the right hand to your chest, where your heart is. And just take nice, long, deep breaths. Let's try 3 of those together. Inhaling through the nose, filling up the belly, the chest, shoulders. And maybe exhaling, drawing that exhale out the same way it came in. And maybe on the second or third breath, you decide to inhale through the back body, filling up the space between the hips and lower back. And then exhaling the way it went down, so coming up through the mid-spine, back of the heart, maybe the back neck and up through the top of the head. Try that a couple of times, alternating front body breathing with back body breathing. And whenever you're ready, you settle into your own natural breath. If you'd like to keep your hands here, great. I find it a wonderful grounding moment, especially at the end of the night, to reconnect with my body, my breath, back body. Once again, I invite you to stay as long as you'd like in your Shavasana. Thank you for joining me tonight. I look forward to the next time we are together.
Darling, darling, you're beautiful. Gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. Sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate.